I'm going to show you the top 5 factors that you need to look for when evaluating an NFT project. The more a project delivers on each of these 5 factors, the higher your chances of getting a 10x return on your investment. I'm Devin Cook. Let's 10x some NFTs and welcome back to Dev Money. And a really quick disclaimer in case it wasn't apparent by the fact that you're watching a YouTube video, this is not financial advice. I'm not some sort of financial advisor. This is only for entertainment purposes. Oh, and make sure to subscribe so we can hit 10,000 and I can give away more stuff to people like you. So the first factor that you want to look for in any NFT project is the community. But even though I'm mentioning this as the first factor to look for, I actually think it's maybe the least important factor out of all of these 5 that we're going to be talking about. And maybe you disagree with me, you think that the community is the most important factor, and I'm totally fine with that. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'm happy to discuss it. So I'll tell you why I think the community is important, but at the same time, not the most important. Think about where you're sitting right now, or maybe you're laying down in a bed, maybe you're commuting right now, but think about your home, where you live, whether it's a house or whether it's an apartment. Why did you choose to live there? I'm certain that the community around you has a factor in where you're currently living. Most people want to live in a place with a really great community. Sometimes that's just a nice neighborhood with a good gym, maybe a nice pool and some other nice amenities. And if you didn't choose where you're currently living, maybe you're still living with your parents or some family or friends, where ideally would you like to live in the future? Do you want to live in Soho in New York? Do you want to live in Beverly Hills in LA or in Miami Beach? We make the decisions on where to live, where to work, where to go for recreation, what clubs to join, what social groups to join, based off of the community. And the same is true for NFTs. Nobody wants to get involved with an NFT community where everyone is just a bunch of jerks. If everyone who owns a Bored Ape was just super condescending and really mean-spirited, I don't think that the Bored Ape Yacht Club would be as successful as it is right now. But I do think that the Bored Ape Yacht Club in that situation would still be pretty successful. And here's why. If you haven't noticed by now on this channel, I'm a big fan of Apple. I just love the company, I love the products, I own the stock, and I'm a self-aware Apple sheep. And there are a lot of reports that back when Steve Jobs was alive and CEO, that he was kind of a jerk to a bunch of the employees. But despite that, knowing what you know about Apple and their success, if I give you $1,000 to invest in Apple stock 15 years ago, would you say no? Because in that scenario, you would have made an average annual return of almost 30%, and that $1,000 investment would be almost $60,000 today. So just because the community may have some bad apples doesn't mean that the entire NFT project is a bad investment. The community is definitely a factor that plays into the success of a project, but there are also a lot of other projects that you gotta take into consideration, which we'll discuss here in a moment. And you gotta realize that most Discords, most NFT communities are pretty nice. Most of them are pretty inviting, and most of them are focusing on helping the members learn more about NFTs. When I'm looking at a new NFT project and evaluating the community, one of the main things I'm looking for is to make sure that there's just not a bunch of talk about the floor price. I want to make sure that it doesn't just have a bunch of pump and dump vibes. And as people continue to buy into the project over time and the original owners sell off, the community is going to evolve and change, but that's also okay. Now, the second factor you need to look for is the art, and be aware that this is extremely subjective. This is very qualitative and it's extremely hard to pinpoint what makes good art good art. The art that you like is based upon your own personal preferences, and each of us have different preferences on what we like versus what we don't like. Maybe you love Porsches because of their gentle curves, and maybe you hate Lamborghinis because of their sharp angles. Maybe a perfect getaway for you is a week on the beach in Tahiti, but your friend would much prefer to spend a week in the Himalayan mountains. So make sure that you actually like the art for whatever NFT project that you're looking at investing in, because if you don't like the art, you're kind of already off to a bad start. Now, here are a couple of questions to ask yourself about the art in an effort to try and take some of the subjectivity out of the equation. First, ask yourself, will this art win some sort of art competition? And realize that most NFT projects just won't. That's just not what most of NFT art is built for. So if you're a real, say, historical art major of sorts, and you just love Michelangelo and Van Gogh and think those are the only true forms of art, you may have a hard time grasping with the fact that Gary V's doodles are selling for thousands of dollars. But there are some projects that are definitely more artistic than others, and if you feel like a project may appeal to that artistic crowd, that could be something to look into. Next, ask yourself, will this art be memorable? Is it something that will stick in someone's mind? Will it dazzle somebody? Will it potentially be a new trend starter? And lastly, and what I think is the most important question to ask yourself when it comes to the art of an NFT project, ask yourself, will other people buy this art? And especially ask, will a lot of other people buy this art? It's easy to look at crypto CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club and say,
well, yeah, obviously everyone's gonna buy that art.
But that's just because you already know how things turned out and you know that you can't buy one for less than $250,000. This is a much harder question to answer when you're looking at a brand new project with no track record. But if you can successfully determine if people will likely buy into a project based upon the art, then you at least have this factor down. Now, the third factor to look for is whether or not big money has entered into a project. And by big money, I mean both big brands as well as big whales. If a big brand or a celebrity collaborates with an NFT project, that can be a really great sign, but there is a caveat to this that you gotta be aware of. You don't just want any brand or celebrity associated with an NFT project just because they have a large following. I think it's safe to say that having someone like Jake Paul associated with your NFT project won't be quite the same as having someone like Mr. Beast associated with your NFT project. There's levels to this. But look for projects that are making really big collaborations, like Artifact with Nike, and before them, Murakami. Look at Adidas collaboration with Bored Apes, and then you have Vivi, who is basically collaborating with every iconic brand out there. And when it comes to whales, I actually want to see whales buying into a project. That doesn't mean I want them to be buying up 80% of the supply, but I do want to see some really high ticket purchases within that NFT project. Because if nobody is paying 10, 20, 30, maybe 50 Ethereum or even more for the high level super rare NFTs within a project, what's going to change in the future that's going to cause those big whales to start paying that money for them later on? If they're not paying for them now, I don't think they're going to pay for them in the future. Or at least it's less likely. And be aware these numbers can be a bit manipulated because you can have the project owners taking the proceeds from the initial launch and buy back the super rare NFTs from their own collection. But as long as you're seeing 5 to 10 high dollar NFT sales going on within that project, I think that's a good sign. Now, the fourth factor, and this is a big one, is the creator behind the project. And here's why that's so important. Say that you're presented one of two options. You have option number one, which is to be given 10 NFTs for free from basically an unknown creator who doesn't have any history in art or design, no real history in business. You don't know anything about their socials because they don't really have any social following. And basically they're just an up and coming brand new artist that you've never heard of and no one has ever heard of. Or you can be given one NFT from Elon Musk's official new NFT collection that he's launching. Without knowing anything else about those two projects, which one are you gonna choose? Some of you may choose to support the new creator and opt for the 10 NFTs, and I think that's awesome. But I know I, for one, and probably a lot of other people, would be choosing that one NFT from Elon Musk. Even if the option was to get 10 NFTs from an unknown artist or to get one whitelist spot for Elon's collection, I would still choose the whitelist spot even though I had to pay for that NFT. Now, why is that? Well, it's actually pretty simple. If someone has a really great track record on social media and in business, then they can leverage that track record to propel that project forward a lot faster than if they don't have that track record. And this isn't always the case because there are definitely some celebrities that just pump and dump projects, so be aware of that. But if you have a creator that has some integrity and actually wants to build a big brand around their NFT project, well, them being well known just makes that process a whole lot easier. And something that you need to really understand about investing in NFTs is that you're not just investing in the JPEG, the underlying piece of art or data behind the NFT. You're actually investing in the creator who created that NFT project, or the team if there's multiple people behind it, because you really need to shift your thinking and think of buying NFTs like buying a stock in any business or company. When you're buying a stock from a company, you're not just investing in a single result from that company. You're investing in the entire business and the business plan behind that company, and also you're investing in the future results that you think that company can produce. Think about it this way. If you invest in Google and buy their stock, you're not just investing in the Google Pixel phone. You're actually investing in a whole lot more than that. You're investing in the company behind the phone. You're investing in the company that owns YouTube. You're investing in the company that basically owns search across the internet. And all of that helps you see the bigger picture than just investing in the company that makes a phone. You're investing in the potential for that company to become increasingly more valuable and to produce more and better products in the future. And likewise with NFTs, you're investing in the career of that creator and their potential growth in the future. So ask yourself, what can that creator potentially do in the future to make this project more valuable than it already is? And if they have a past track record of success, it makes taking that data and extrapolating it into future results a lot easier. Just like any new product that is entering the marketplace has to have a unique selling proposition to really set themselves apart from the rest of the market, the creator's responsibility for the NFT project is to set that that project apart to innovate and make it better than any of the competition. So in my opinion, I think that the creator behind the NFT project is one of the most important factors that you can look for when you're looking at investing into an NFT project. Now, the fifth factor, and what I deem to be maybe the most important factor to look for, is the utility behind the NFT project. And this is another great time to draw a parallel between NFTs and the stock market. So ask yourself, are you gonna buy stock from a company that produces nothing? Literally nothing. I'm not even saying that the company is offering the promise of producing something in the future. I'm saying that they literally produce nothing. They're just a stock, a company listed on the New York Stock Exchange with the necessary CEO and board of directors and all that kind of stuff. They don't produce any profits, and the only revenue that they're creating is from the sale of their stock on the stock exchange. If I saw that stock, I would run as far away as possible. So when I see these NFT projects pop up that don't offer any real value outside of the art, I just ask, why? But really though, why would I buy something that doesn't offer any utility into my life? And I know that some NFT projects are really just here for the vibes, they're here for the art, and the community is super excited about that. But in my opinion, in 2022, that's just really not good enough anymore. The NFT landscape is shifting, and we're shifting away from art and vibes, and we're shifting more towards a utility-focused market. And I think that the Bored Ape Yacht Club is a great example of having great utility and executing on a roadmap. They've had a very specific roadmap that investors could look to, and they've delivered on a lot of the things on that roadmap. And nowadays, you're not spending $250,000 for a picture of an ape to hang in your bedroom or to set as your new Twitter profile picture. If you're buying an ape today, you're doing so because you want exclusive access to the events and Discord that are only available to those that hold an ape in their wallet. Because being able to collaborate and network with people that are able to spend $250,000 on an NFT can lead to some really great business deals and business collaborations. And if you're one of the lucky few that minted an ape or bought one at a super low price and you're still holding, well, I think you just got an insanely cheap ticket to potentially one of the greatest masterminds that we're ever gonna see. So what kind of utility can projects offer, and what should you be looking for? Look for something unique that you can only get with that project and that you think will be highly desirable in the future. Access tokens are a great example, like with Bored Ape Yacht Club that I just mentioned, or with Gary V's VFriends, which gets you access to VCon. A lot of projects will also be offering airdrops, which can be pretty lucrative, but in my experience, the airdrops that an NFT project offers are really only as valuable as the original NFT project is. Which is why the Mutant Ape Serums and Mutant Ape Yacht Club has been pretty successful. It's because the Bored Ape Yacht Club was already pretty successful and Mutant Apes just built off of that. And look for a project that is doing something really great and innovative with the funds that they got from the project launch. And if they're just taking 90% of those profits and they're just gonna pocket them, well, that would be a red flag to me. And if the creators are saying that they're gonna take those funds and buy up the floor, well, I think that's kind of a waste, because it's like having Apple tell their investors,
Hey guys, we're just gonna buy up all of our iPhones so that way we boost our earnings this quarter. How's that sound?
That does not sound good, and it does not help in the long term. So especially as we get further into 2022, look for projects that are offering a really unique utility that has never been seen before. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next video.